So inshallah tonight we're going to start our halaqah. Inshallah I'm going to do 2 halaqat of Ashrat al-Sa'a. We're going to start from the beginning. A lot of brothers requested as number 1. And there's a lot of benefit to study. Some people, they think, what's the benefit of studying Ashrat al-Sa'a, the signs of the hour of the Day of Judgment. I'm going to mention inshallah. After that, 3 weeks we're going to study fiqh of Sawm, fiqh of fasting. We're going to call it fiqh of fasting A to Z inshallah, so that when we go to Ramadan we know the rules and regulations. Because I receive a lot of questions during the Ramadan, especially easy matters that people should know. So inshallah we're going to have that fiqh of fasting 101. So let's start the signs of the hour of the Day of Judgment. The first question arises that when we advertise, sometimes people, they say, why we have to speak about the signs of the Day of Judgment? This is not important in Islam. Why do we have to study? First and foremost, everything that insan, the human being, studies, everything that he looks at has to have a benefits, has to have a thamarat, a fruit that you gain from that thing. So are we studying the signs of the hours just for story? So just that's nice, that's cool stuff to hear about that major signs, to hear about the Dajjal. Is it fun? Something fun just to hear? Is fictional story, or is it true benefit? There's a true benefit in it, or is just something like general knowledge that the Muslim just should have it? First and foremost, it was reported the Ashrat al-Sa'a. When I say Ashrat al-Sa'a, I'm talking about all the signs of the hour, minor and the major thing. I'm not talking about one or the Dajjal or a dab, one of it. I'm talking about the signs of the hour has a benefit, because it was reported in the Quran and the Sunnah. And the Quran does not mention something without benefits. The Quran, the stories that Quran says it, or the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ, is something that we can derive lessons from it. So in general, the Ashrat al-Sa'a has many benefits. So there is a benefit, especially when Quran and Sunnah had mentioned it. Number 1 is tahqiq al-iman bil-ghayb, is affirmation, a fulfillment of our belief to unseen. As a Muslims, we are Muslims. We are the people. Muslim literally means the people who submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the will, the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything that Allah and His Messenger said, we submit to that. Allah says, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَنْ يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيَرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ. Allah is the one who created us. He knows what is good for us, what's not good for us. Whatever Allah says, we do not have an option of debating on it. We have to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We stop. Did Allah say that? Yes, fully stop. Khalas, we are a Muslims. That's what it means literally. Muslim is the person who submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Among the pillars of belief is to believe the unseen, the things that we have seen. And Islam in general, there is a lot about unseens, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have never seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but still we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, something was a past that we have never seen Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So as a Muslims, we believe the unseen. And if you look at the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first description when Allah says Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah knows what it meant. Then Allah says, this kitab, this book that you are about to read, لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, there is no doubt in it. What is it then? هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, is a guidance for muttaqeen. Allah telling you in advance, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. The muttaqeen, the true believers, are those who believe the unseen. The unseen, that you're going to be seeing a lot of ghaybiyat in this book that you're going to recite. And among the character of the believers is that you believe the unseen generally. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, those who believe the unseen. So unseen, believing the matters that we have not seen, is part of our faith. And anything that the Prophet ﷺ authentically reported, we have to submit and obey that and listen to that, because Prophet ﷺ, whatever he says is a wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى, he does not speak from his desire. Anything that Prophet ﷺ said is a wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first we're going to affirm our belief of the unseen. A lot of unseens, مثلا the Ashrat al-Sa'a, especially the signs of the hour that did not happen yet. مثلا خروج الدجال, مثلا نزول عيسى, the descendant of Isa alayhi salam, the خروج يأجوج ومأجوج, the beast animal that will come out, the sun rises from the west. All of these things are ghaybiyat. we have not seen it. We believe it because the Prophet ﷺ had told us. So anything that we have been reported from Prophet ﷺ, we have to believe it, and al-ghaybiyat. So once we study the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, then we affirm our belief into the unseen. That's number one. Number two, learning about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah is a motivational for us to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to prepare for ourselves in the day of judgment. Because you're going to know about the day of judgment and you're going to see the closeness of the day of judgment. So once you study the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, you're going to be motivated to be better, because you're going to see that the hour is so close. Anytime the hour can come, you're going to prepare yourself for it. That's number one. Number two, some of the Ashrat did not happen. Some of the Ashrat, some of the signs of the hour did not happen yet. So this does not mean the Qiyamah is too far from you. Prophet ﷺ said, "Man mata faqad qamat qiyamatu." Your Qiyamah started the day you die. The day you die. So the day you die could be so close to you. You might die at any moment. Any moment. There are a lot of people who healthy, wealthy. The Imam of Haram, Imam Muhammad Ayyub Mathalan, he slept happy. He attended the party of his daughter, last of his daughters who finished the Quran. But the night he slept, even he woke up to adjust the ACs. He asked his daughter to adjust the ACs. He was fine. He went back. He didn't wake up. So Qiyamah can be so close to you. The moment that you die, your Qiyamah will start. So you have to have the encouragement of preparing for that. The Prophet ﷺ, he stood up at night and he said, وَيْلٌ لِلْعَرَبِ مِنْ شَرٍّ قَدْ اقْتَرَبَتْ. Woe to Arabs from an evil thing that has almost come. He said, today, the set of Ya'juj or Ma'juj, the place that they were locked in, a small area had opened. He said, had opened from it. Then the Prophet ﷺ, he said in that hadith, أَيْقِضُ صَوَاحِبِ الْحَجِّ. He woke up his wives and he said that, pray to Allah. Let's do some salawat. Let them pray. The Prophet ﷺ said in that hadith, فَرُبَّ كَاسِيَةٍ فِي الدُّنْيَا عَارِيَةٍ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. There's a lot of kasiyat who they look like they are covered. They are covered, but in reality they are naked. They are naked. The scholars have a lot of opinions. And this topic of modesty is a topic that a lot of speakers have avoided it because of many reasons. Some they say now, maybe some people they might feel their judgment, but as a masajid, as an organization, we have to teach these issues to our sisters. So the dress, the hijab itself has the conditions. Among the conditions of the hijab, it doesn't have to be very tight on you. It doesn't have to be transparent. There's a lot of conditions. You don't have to have it strictly to the type of the hijab that in some cultures is known. Anything that covers your body is in hijab. Anyways, the side story. So that's the second one. The second one is going to encourage you to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third benefit for studying the Ashrat al-Sa'ah is that you're going to know from Ashrat al-Sa'ah rules and regulations that you may not know if it was not the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. The example of that is the story of the Dajjal that we had mentioned, that he would say in this land, Yawmun kasana, a day that equal to like 1 year, and a day that equal like a shahr. The next day is going to be like a month. The third day is going to be like a week, and the rest of these days is going to be like our days. And the companions asked the Prophet ﷺ, we have passed this. They said that, what they asked? Anybody can remember? What did they ask when the Prophet ﷺ told them about this? Guys, pay attention. Yes, how to pray. They asked about the prayer. How are we going to pray at the time when the day is so long? Like 1 day equals 1 year. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, make qiyas for it. اقدروا له قدرا. He said, do it, estimate it. After every couple hours, pray. So if the day is long, like 1 year, but you're going to be a qadr. You're going to estimate. You're going to try your best. What are we going to learn from that? The scholars of Islam, especially fuqaha, there has been got a ruling from countries where like the nights are so long, the days. Some people they have day for a while, for a long time. Some they're gonna have a day for 1 month. They won't have any night at all. How are they gonna pray? Those people, they're gonna do aqdiru lahu qadra. Where they get from that, they get from the Dajjal, from the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. So studying the Ashrat al-Sa'ah would give us and will clarify for us some rulings and regulations in a fiqh perspective. The fourth benefit, I'm going to mention 9 benefits inshallah of studying the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, is knowing the Ashrat al-Sa'ah would affirm for you, would strengthen the prophethood of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam speaks about the signs of the hour, and we see that one after another one is happening, then that we're going to be affirmed that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a messenger from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're told him that ghaybiyat other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, alimul ghayb. Allah is the one who knows the unseen. Anybody who claims to be knowing the unseen is not saying the truth. Allah is the only one who knows the unseen. Allah says, فَلَا يُظْهِرُ عَلَى غَيْبِهِ أَحَدًا. No one will know the ghayb, the unseen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah does not show to anyone exceptional, illa, except man irtada min rasul, a messenger that Allah had pleased with it. فإنه Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell him. So we're going to know that Prophet telling the ashrat of sa'ah, when we say ashrat sa'ah are many, and don't assume one or two. It's the entire ashrat of sa'ah. It shows, it affirms the Prophet of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Prophet had mentioned, inshallah, we're going to see some of them today, inshallah, at the end of halaqah. Some of the ashrat of sa'ah had happened now, already passed. And Prophet told us 1400 years ago. That's fourth benefit. The first benefit is that knowing the ashrat al-sa'ah, we're going to learn from how to deal with it. If we do not know about the Dajjal, mathalan, how would a person would deal with the Dajjal when the Dajjal comes in? Then by us knowing about the ashrat al-sa'ah, we're going to know, inshallah, any sign of this hour comes, we're going to know how to deal with it and what to do. Number 6 is that self-preparation for what's going to happen for us in the future. If the ashrat al-sa'ah, we do not know about it and it happened suddenly like this, one time, then it would be like something like very sudden and we didn't know what to do and how to do it. Then by us knowing the ashrat al-sa'ah, we're going to get that. Number 7, seventh benefit is that the doors of hope would open for us. Because when we see that the Islam is humiliated, the Muslims are killed unjustly, the innocent of the Muslims, the innocent of lives has been taken. When we know the ashrat al-sa'ah, that is going to come a day where the religion of Allah, the religion of Islam is the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a religion that Allah has chosen for humanity. It's not a religion for a group of people. It's inna deena inda Allah al-Islam. The true religion of Allah is Islam. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum. Today I have completed. Allah says, wa raditu lakum al-Islam. I have chosen Islam for you as a religion of Allah. So Islam is not like comparative religion. It's the only religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept. So we're going to know that religion would prevail. That religion would lead, inshallah. So once we know that, then we're going to be in a good situation. Okay. Hamdi and others, why don't you guys join us and get some benefits? That would be really good if you could join us. Inshallah. Jazakallahu khair. Okay, opening the doors of hope for the people. That's another. So we're going to have a hope that inshallah Islam will prepare. The 8th benefit of the Day of Judgment is that we're going to fulfill our natural desire of liking to know the missing things. Human being naturally, he likes to know what's going to happen. Always he likes to know, he has a desire of like, you want to know what's going to happen in the future. So by us studying the ashrat al-sa'ah, at least we're going to have some glimpse. You're not going to know too much. You're going to know some glimpse of what's going to be happening, coming. So in Islam, since Islam did not close the doors on the liars in general, Allah had closed the gates on the liars, those who tell us, like those who say like fortune tellers and all of that. You can't do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only knows that. And so, but Islam told us not to do that, and instead He had given us another option where He had told us about the ashrat al-sa'ah, the signs of the hour of the Day of Judgment. Final benefit, and there are many benefits, that is going to increase our iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's going to strengthen it, because it's going to show the truth of the Islam in general. Earlier was said the truth of Prophet ﷺ. Now it's going to in general the truth of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the truth of Islam in entirety. So these are the 9 benefits that I just concluded. I just summarized it about the benefit, but there are many other benefits. For me, at least you're going to know your religion. That's point number 1. So point 1, al-unsur al-awwal that we had covered was that the benefits of studying the signs of the hour of the Day of Judgment. The second point that I want to move is very important topic, is that what are the guidelines when it comes dealing with the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. You're going to see the ulama, the scholars of Islam had made a lot of ta'leef. They have written about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. And until now, you see a lot of stuff has been written about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. If you go to internet, you see a lot of information about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. So sometimes things are not clear. Sometimes it's confusion in the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. So how are we going to deal with these issues? Some of the time, some people decided denying. Everybody's going to write a lot of information from Ashrat al-Sa'ah. Everyone is going to interpret that sign of the hour to anything that he wants. If the person does not like مثلا Saddam Hussein, he will say he's the Dajjal. If he doesn't like Bashar, he's going to say he is Sufyan. So everybody will interpret the way he wants if we do not have the guidelines to follow when it comes to Ashrat al-Sa'ah. A lot of people will say, hey, it's going to come from there because that person is so and so. They're going to make a lot of conclusion. He doesn't like you, he's going to say, you are the Dajjal. You are the Dajjal. He's going to give you some descriptions of it. So what is the guidelines? Number one, first and foremost, that we need to keep in our mind, we are strictly limited. When it comes to Ashrat al-Sa'ah, it's strictly limited to the text of Quran and Sunnah. We're not going to take anything. Whenever we have evidence about Ashrat al-Sa'ah, we are strictly limited to the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because there's a lot of fictionals, there's a lot of people who made up stuffs. And this matter of Ashrat al-Sa'ah, the signs of the hour, entirely is a ghaybiyat. It's unseen. And unseen, we don't know anything unseen except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Who is the one who knows the ghaybiyat, the unseen on this earth and the heavens, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are strictly limited. Allah says, عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ فَلَا يَقْدِرُ عَلَى غَيْبِ أَحَدًا. So ghaybiyat is only strictly to those texts. Prophet was being told about some of the Salat al-Sa'ah, whatever he was told, he's going to take it. So we are strictly limited to the Quran and Sunnah. The second, another point that can come under this is that there are a lot of stories, fictional stories. You may see Israeliyat, a lot of things that from Israeli stories, you may see in their stories. Prophet ﷺ told us about Israelis, how we deal with the things that comes from Jewish and Christians. The guideline is that whatever is affirmed in our Quran and Sunnah, we believe it, we take it from them. Whatever was not affirmed in our Quran and Sunnah, we do not deny it, we abstain from it. We abstain from it because originally those books were from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we're not going to believe, no, we're going to disbelieve. We're going to just possibility of being true. So also Israeliyat and any other fiction or even dreams cannot. Some people they say that so and so, Shaykh Maulana, Mufti, saying so and so has seen a dream and I've seen that and that. That also is not a dalil, is not a proof, especially when we're talking about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. Some people use this title of the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. Inshallah, I'm trying to go to more of the academic way with this. Some people, they used this Ashrat al-Sa'ah to provoke some people, to bring the people's emotion up. ISIS now is using Ashrat al-Sa'ah to bring people in them. They're going to say now Dajjal is close, this hadith of Rayat al-Sawda, the people will be having a black what they call flag is going to come. We are those people. Those Prophet described it. Some people, they may use this Ashrat al-Sa'ah for their own benefit. Some people now, they even use this for business issues. Some people to bring some speakers that only strictly speaks about this topic so that they can bring the people's attention towards them. And this topic is interesting topic, and generally the human being likes to know about interesting. When we started about Dajjal, a lot of people came to the class. Why? Because its issues is interesting. So there's some people, they use this for own worldly benefit, to gain money, for own then worldly benefit. So we have to be careful. And they're going to narrate a lot of gharaib, strange hadiths, which has no basis. A lot of weird aqwal, even sometimes the aql of human being cannot believe. That's first guideline. What is it? Strictly limited to the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. Number two, the second guideline is that going back to the scholars who are trustworthy. Scholars that they are being trustworthy, holding to this principle of the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet ﷺ, you go back to them whenever you have some doubts about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah. It's very confusing. Some people some of the Ashrat al-Ghaybiyat, our mind cannot comprehend. Our mind cannot comprehend. So we're trying to understand sometimes in our mind something of a ghaib of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we do not understand in our heart that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a powerful, can do whatever He wants. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had put the people of Kahf into a sleep, 300 sinin, for 300 years, and they did not grow. And the man whom Allah mentioned in the Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَأَمَاتَهُ اللَّهُ مِئَةَ عَامٍ, Allah had killed him for 100 years, and Allah bring him back to the life, and his himar, his donkey did not change, his food did not change. The ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah can do the same thing again. So some if you see a hadith, says that Dajjal is alive, they cannot believe it. The whole Dajjal can be alive for this long life. So, well, if Allah can do that, the hadith Sahih Muslim, by the way, if Allah can do that, He can do with Ashab al-Kahf that, and they lived that long life and they did not grow. And this man who died for 100 years, he did not grow. Allah can do the same. And again, do not downestimate the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَفَعَّالٌ لِمَا يُرِيدٌ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says be and it becomes, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala power is limitless. So we have to, when we have a doubt, we have to go to the scholars to clarify the matters for us. We don't use our own intellect in some areas because we may not understand. And I know some people, their Islam got shaken because of these issues. They may try to reason, they might not try to reason. And I always tell them, give them from proofs from the Quran itself. But if you believe this, why can't you believe this? Why can't you believe, if this is so miracle and that happened and done by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why can't you believe this? That's the same example to satisfy the people. That's why Allah says, إِنَّ مَثَلَ عِيسَى عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَمَثَلِ آدَمَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Isa in the sight of Allah is like Adam. Some people, they cannot believe Isa is a human being, is the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Isa was born without father. Then Allah gives them same argument. He says, well, why it's hard for you to believe in Isa being a messenger of Allah, and it's not hard for you to believe Allah can create a man, Adam alayhi salam, without father and mother. So if something is difficult to Allah, that could be hasha lillah. Nothing is difficult to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Adam was being created without father and mother, then if I can do something, then if I do half of that, that means I could do all. I can do logically. That's the element of the Quran. So we always go back to the ulama that you trust. Allah says, "Was'alu ahla dhikr." Go back to the people who know. This is in the Quran. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "In kuntum la ta'lamun." If you do not know the matter is not clear for you, ask. Everything is learning and studying. So study. Allah says, وَلُرُدُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَإِلَى الرَّسُولِ. If a matter is not unclear for you, return it back to Allah and His Messenger. So this is the way of the Salafun al-Salih, the people before us, the righteous people who were the companions of Prophet ﷺ, and the Tabi'in and the Tabi'in that they had done. It was reported that a companion, his name was Abi Tufayl, he was in a Kufa after the death of Prophet ﷺ. The people started spreading the rumors that Dajjal came out. They were saying Dajjal came out. And he was in a majlis like this. A man came in, he said, Dajjal came out. He told him, sit down. The man sat down and he started listening to the talk. And another man came, because it was the rumors. And he came, and a man who was well respected, a leader. He said, Dajjal came out, that's what I heard. He said, sit down. And another man came and said that, no, it was not true. It was just a rumor that people were spreading. And that scholar, he said, إِنَّ الدَّجَّالَ لَوْ خَرَجَ فِي زَمَانِكُمْ لَرَمَتْهُ الصِّبْيَانُ بِالْحَذَرِ. He said, if Dajjal would come out in this time, the kids will stone him. They will stone him, because he did understand that the time that they were in, it was not the Dajjal, the time was coming. He said, Dajjal is going to come. He said, يَخْرُجُ فِي بَعْضِ مِنَ النَّاسِ. It's going to come, فِي بُغْضٍ مِنَ النَّاسِ. It's going to come at Dajjal where people hate each other. Maybe we're close to that, where people spread rumors against each other, disliking each other. And he said, وَخِفَّةٍ مِنَ الدِّينِ. At the time Dajjal will come, there will be less religion. There will be less people who are teaching the religion of Allah, and less people or student of knowledge who would studying the Islam. So he understood, because he's a scholar, he understood, and he told him that, no, that's not even true, sit down. But going back to the scholars always is a way to leave the confusion. And again, in Islam, everything is reasonable. Everything in Islam can be understood. If your heart is open to understand, Islam is not a religion of fictional or everything is about believe. No problem, just keep the faith. Keep the faith. That's not what Islam stands for. Islam is a religion of intellectual that was revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for human beings. So human beings, and everything in it can be understood. The third guideline, when we're talking about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, is that to remember the hadith of Prophet when he said, حَدِّثُ النَّاسِ بِمَا يَعْقِلُونَ. Tell the people what they understand. Do not confuse the people with something that it does not mean everything that is authentic has to be said to everyone. Everything is authentic, but you have to tell to everyone. It's not what the Sharia calls for it. Sometimes, especially to a non-Muslims or no Muslims, some of the stuffs you don't have to tell them, they won't understand. And everything you don't have to. You have to always to look the masalih and mafad. Sometimes you may not have enough time to explain this thing. Then you do not go into it. You do not go into it. مثلا, an example, always about masalih and mafazid. مثلا, if you look into the story in the seerah of Prophet ﷺ, always examples from the seerah is beautiful because everything gets clear. If you go to the seerah of Prophet ﷺ at the time of Ja'far, when he went to Abyssinia, to Habasha, to Ethiopia, when he went to them, when Amr bin As tried to pinpoint the areas that where Islam and Christianity disagreed, he said, these people, they say bad thing about Christ, Isa. When he was asked, what do you say about Isa? He was wise to respond. He was wise to respond. Same thing we have to deal when we're responding to Christians people. We can't be blamed that he was not blamed with them. He was not like, hey, you guys you're in a kufr, disbelief, you're mushrikeen, disbelievers, we don't believe this stuff, he did not say that. He mentioned the common grounds. He said whatever we say about Isa, there was a common ground between Christianity and Islam. And that's why he was saved. And that's why even he allowed them to stay. And that's what led eventually Najashi to accept Islam. So sometimes you do not have to say everything. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in hadith. This hadith in Bukhari. Prophet he said, حَدِّثُ النَّاسَ بِمَا يَعْرِفُونَ. Tell the people what they know. What they know. If a non-Muslim comes, you don't have to give him how blasphemy is to believe Jesus is son of Christ. You know what I mean? And the son of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have to do that. Although that's the truth, that is blasphemy to believe that. But there's a lot of areas where you have to be wise and see the benefits of this, the benefits of the Prophet he said, tell the people what they know. Do you want that the people to disbelieve Allah and His Messenger? If the people to do that. Another narration he said, أيها الناس تحبون أن يكذب الله ورسوله. O people, you like the people to disbelieve Allah and His Messenger. Then he said that, tell the people, حدث الناس, tell the people, بما يعرفون, whatever they know. Whatever they do not know, abandon it. Do not talk about it. Do not talk about it. They will reach that maturity. It took you a time. These people are known. You can't just bombard them those information in it. Ibn Mas'ud says, he said, ما أنت بمحدث قوما حديث لا تبلغ عقولهم. He said, you're not going to talk to people, you don't tell them something that their minds will not comprehend. You don't tell them that. Otherwise, it's going to be a fitna. It's going to be fitna for them. It's going to be a fitna. The person you're going to put into a fitna. When you see the person intellectually grow and you have enough time to explain the matter, then explain to the matter. It's مثلا أحكام the rulings of Sharia, مثلا the qisas, مثلا about Sharia and all of that. You don't have to give them to a non-Muslim comes to you, tells it Muslim Islamic Sharia, you do that. You cut the hand. You don't have to tell them unless you have enough time and enough knowledge to explain why and how is this. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're gonna drive away people from Islam. I hope I made sense in this topic. Did I? Okay. These are the guidelines. The guideline number 1 is strictly limited to the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of Prophet. You don't take anything from about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, signs of the hour. Number 2, always go back to the scholars when the matter is not clear for you. Number 2 is always tell the people of what they understand. Do not tell them something that they do not understand, even if that thing is sahih. You may not understand it better if you don't have the entire picture of the matter. So this is the guidelines that you should follow. The third point that inshallah before, this is introduction by the way. The third, before we go into Ashrat al-Sa'ah, we're going to start the minor ones. Before we go, is that the third point, al-unsur al-thalith, that I want to explain is the guidelines when we try to apply this science into our current times. we have to follow, and again, another guidelines. What time I have? How long am I talking?
36 minutes.
Alhamdulillah, I think I can finish this. So what are the guidelines to follow when we try to apply the things? Are you paying attention, Layluma? What are the guidelines to follow when you are trying to apply this to your life, to current events? What are the number one? What is the reason? Because we're in a time where there is a lot of fitan, there is a lot of confusion. A lot of people use this ashrat al-sa'a just to prove their points. Sometimes they make a conclusion 100% in a matter that to apply this ashrat al-sa'a on that matter. Mathalan, you say that guy is Sufyan. Bashar al-Assad, you will hear a lot of times now. Bashar al-Assad, he is the Dajjal of this time. Some people, they give 100% that. It's going to come like the Dajjal. Bashar al-Assad does not have descriptions of the Dajjal. You know what I mean? He does not have even the physical descriptions of the Dajjal. So sometimes we confuse people, or we confuse ourselves. What are the guidelines? Number one, first, we are not obligated to apply this ashrat al-sa'a, every minor signs to our current events 100%. We cannot. Because some people, they are very eager to do this. They do all the type of taklif. They try all their best to apply to this lives, to the current events. So every hadith, they try to apply the current method. In the hadith of Prophet he said, يُوشَكُ أَلَّا يُجْبَ لِلْعِرَاقِ قَفِيزًا وَلَا دِرْهَمْ. The hadith of Prophet said there's going to come a time when Iraq will not have their khafiz is the scale that they use, like a kilogram that the Iraq used to use it. Their money will not be valuable. They won't be using the scales. They're going to apply that at the time of 90s when there was uqubat, when it was boycott against Iraq. This could be closed with truths, but some people went too far with that. They say they even derived from the signs of the hour of the day of judgment to say that we have method. You're going to see some righteous. We have 1,000 years until this life ends it, because they went too deep with the signs, and they went confused, and they used weak and weird narrations on these issues. Among the people who even limited the time of this dunya, said 1,000 years. It's like Imam al-Suyuti, Imam al-Sakhawi. They went too far with this matter. Among the examples is that a man who wrote Asrar al-Sa'a, the secrets of the hour. He wrote a book. He said that Dajjal is gonna given the riasa in Iran. He's gonna be president in Iran before the Mahdi comes. And he says that man is Muhammad Khatami, the former president of Iran. He was a Dajjal. So this thing just went too far. Trying to apply with it, you go extreme with it. He wrote in another book, Al-Masih al-Dajjal, he said he is Saddam Hussein. Because Iran and Iraq had problems, they say Saddam Hussein is the Masih al-Dajjal. Another author, his name is Amin Muhammad Jamal, he wrote in his book, saying that the Sufyan that was mentioned in the Surat we're going to reach into a bad man. That man would be Saddam Hussein. He went with that. Some people, they say Al-Malik Hussein, the king of Jordan, he is the Sufyani. He's a Sufyani. And I have met individual in this masjid thinking of himself Dajjal, plus he's thinking Sufyan, and then Bashar al-Assad being a Sufyan. So he's doing taklif for himself to try to apply it. There's a lot of people, sometimes it's also a mental issue that people think they are even al-Mahdi. There is a mental issue. Another example is that if the matter is not clear enough, you cannot make a conclusion of it. But there are some matters where the scholars was so clear for them, they made a conclusion by this. This is what the Prophet ﷺ was literally talking about it. Let's give some examples. Example, what it was narrated in Sahih Muslim. Asma bint Abi Bakr narrates when her son Abdullah ibn Zubayr was killed by Hajjaj inside the Kaaba of the Prophet, the Kaaba al-Musharraf, the honorable Kaaba. When he was killed inside there, and he was innocent, he was killed wrongly. When she met Hajjaj, he was a murderer. He was killing the people right and left. He was sent to the people of Iraq, I think by Abdul Malik Marwan. He was very strictly thirsty for blood. Because at the time, the people of Iraq were people hard to deal with. They don't listen to their rulers. Any ruler that was appointed to them, they kick him out. They disobey him, they be rude to him, until was sent this man. So when he came through, they say, it's another side note. When he came to Iraq, when he was appointed by a leader, he came with an imamah. He came with an imamah. He was people, they were judging him based on his sin. Look, this guy, what a ruler is this? What is this? He should not be here. We already took care of bigger guys than him. And he made a first khutbah. He said in his first khutbah, he said, "Inni ara ru'usan qad ayna'at." He said, I have seen a head that ayna'at is like ready to eat. What's called literally when the fruit is ready to eat. What do you call?
Ripe.
What was that?
Ripe.
It's ripe. I have seen a head that's ripe, ready to eat. He said, "Wahana qitafuha." It's a time that it's time to cut them. And he throw his imamah. He looked miskin first. He throw his imamah. Imamah is a turban that he had. Sometimes I wear it. He throw it. He said, "Mata ada'u al-imamata ta'rifuni." When I put my imamah down, you're gonna learn. You're gonna know who I am. He said, wait a minute. They were afraid of him since then, and he killed a lot of people. He was bloody, but not trying to praise him. He was a murderer. So Asma bint Abi Bakr, when she met him, she said that the Messenger of Allah, "Inna Rasulullah hadathana fi thaqif kadhabun wa mubira." He said from Thaqif that there will be a liar who will be coming out, and there will be a mubira, a person who is a murderer, thirsty for blood, will kill the people. She said, the kadhab, we have seen it. And wal mubir, the Prophet ﷺ, the killer that you're talking about, it's you. So another narration, Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah is a great Imam of Shafi'i madhab. He says that when she says that al-kadhab, meant by al-Mukhtar ibn Abi Ubaid, a man from Thaqif. He came from Thaqif. He was a big liar. He claimed that Jibreel came and spoke to him. And the scholars had agreed that he was a liar, that the Prophet ﷺ was speaking about. And the mubir, that the killer that the Prophet ﷺ spoke about, is al-Hajjaj. So like this clear conclusion, like clear sign, can be just made a conclusion, can be applied to the current life. Another example that it was true interpretation into the real life about the hours. The Prophet ﷺ's hadith, he said, "La taqum as-sa'a." The sa'a will not establish, hour will not start until a fire comes from Ard al-Hijaz, from the land of Hijaz. That will lighten the necks of the ibils of the camels in Basra, those who are in Basra. It's going to be a huge fire that can be seen from very far away. The scholars had spoken about this fire, and they mentioned that it was a fire that started and it was continued for 3 months, and the people could see it from far away. In the next, if the people were not even using no more fires because of that huge fire that happened, the people in Medina were using. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah mentioned this also. He said that it was a nar in the Medina Prophet ﷺ, the year of Sanat 54 or 600, 600 and to 54 is in 54 miladi, and it was huge, and the people could see, and the scholars had affirmed that was the nar that the Prophet ﷺ was talking about. Ibn Hajar also affirms that in his book by saying that is what it was the Prophet ﷺ meant it. Al-Imam al-Qurtubi in his tafsir also, he mentioned in this. So some of the matters are so clear to be applied to our lives. Those can be taken, but everything else we are not obligated again to change it, to apply it to our lives. Another true example is the example of the Prophet ﷺ that I mentioned that today in khutbah, said that لا تقوم الساعة حتى تظهر الفتن. The hour will not be established until the fitna arise from everywhere, and there will be a lot of liars. وتتقارب الأسواق. The markets will be close to each other, and the time will be close, and there will be a lot of haraj, a lot of killings. ومن haraj is killing. So what the scholars of Islam, they spoke about what it meant تتقارب الزمان الأسواق. The markets to be close to each other and the time to be close to each other. They say that the technology is a new technology, that the ta'irat, like you don't have to travel as long as you used to. You can just take an airplane, quick time, you can go to another city easily. So this is time came close, and using the sayyarat, using the cars and all of those, and also the technology, the TVs, everything that happens right now in America, you're going to know right now in back home. I was in Somalia at the time of 9/11. I heard at the moment that I heard, so it was like very quick, and it was a long time ago. So now that the man is so close to each other, and the cities are not too far from each other. It does not mean literally it means by awareness, by knowing what's going on in the world. Like some of the signs so are like that clear. The first qa'idah, let me repeat again, inshallah, so that sticks into our mind. The first guideline is that we are not obligated to interpret, translate the signs of the hour into our lives, except the clear ones that there is no doubt in it being on this. We can't use everything, otherwise every person would use on his own political gain. The second guideline, when it comes to applying to our current life about the Ashrat al-Sa'ah, is that it does not necessarily mean the Ashrat al-Sa'ah that they will follow each other and they will be close to each other. It does not mean, especially the major ones. The major ones would happen at the end of the time, and it would happen very quickly, very fast. It's like cutting a misbah. The misbah that some people use it to count. Like if you cut it the way it follows each other, the signs of the hour would follow, especially the major ones, like that. But other than that, it does not have to follow each other. Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned an example. He said that his bi'tha, his resurrection, his messagehood. He said, I was sent, ana wa sa'aka hatain. He put his two fingers, said, me and the hour were close to each other. So this does not mean, again, literally, that all the signs of the hours are going to be very close to each other. It's going to be happen in a moment that we can. So some of the hours had already happened. Some would happen after a while. So we do not have. That would stop us interpreting the signs of the hour. In short, inshallah, I'm almost done on the muqaddamah. We can divide the Ashrat al-Sa'ah into three categories of all. Number one is an Ashrat. I'm going to mention each one, inshallah. An alamat, a sign that already happened, clearly happened, the way the Prophet ﷺ had told us. Mathalan, among the signs of the hour is the bi'th of Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ's resurrection, his message. When the Prophet ﷺ was sent to humanity, that showed that the hour was very close. Also his death was a sign of the hour of the day of judgment that already happened. That there will be a people who will be claiming to be prophets. The Prophet ﷺ was a sign of the day of judgment and already happened. So the first category is signs that had already happened and already passed. Number two is signs that is happening now and is going right now and increasing. Among these, like the qarab al-aswaq, that the markets will be closing to each other, and also kathratul qatl al-haraj, a lot of killings is happening now. So some of the signs are currently occurring. The third category is that signs that did not happen yet, but we know as the believers, believing that is going to happen in the future. Amongst it is a khuruj al-dabba that Allah had mentioned in the Quran. And then what was the ayah about the dabba? دابة من الأرض تكلمهم أن الناس كانوا بآياتنا يقولون. That there will be a dabba that is going to come, a beast, animal. We're going to explain about it, inshallah. Maybe it's going to take us a long time from now. So it did not happen. Dajjal did not happen yet. Mahdi did not happen yet. Masih al-Isa ibn Maryam, his descendant, did not happen yet. So these are signs that did not yet happen. The second guideline, which is that it does not necessarily to be following each other. The third, and I'm going to end with that, inshallah. The third guideline is that to understand the danger of trying to interpret these things to a waqi', to a current event. We try to do that. First, we are talking بِغَيْرِ ilm, without knowledge. And we're talking about the matter of ghaib without knowledge. Is it dangerous? Allah says, do not speak about the matters that you do not know. Do not say, هَذَا حَلَالُ هَذَا حَرَامُ. You cannot just speak about the signs of the hour based on your desire, based on your feelings, based on your political views. You say so and so is Dajjal, so and so is that, so and so is Mahdi. You can't do it that, because otherwise you're talking about umur of ghaibiyat without knowledge. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had forbade us to speak about a matter without having a knowledge. That's point one about the danger of talking about this. Number two is, and sometimes we spend ourselves in a matter, in a time, in our energy in something that not necessary when we're talking about this. Some people, they read a book talks about the Mahdi already, it came out, Let's say it's the mu'allif, the author says that Mahdi is alive right now. Then that person is going to read about Mahdi and is going to prepare for a Mahdi. He's going to buy he's going to buy a horse and safe, a horse and sword, so that he's going to get ready for him at the end of the battles that will happen, that people fight with those weapons. He's going to prepare for them. He's going to spend his time on something that's not necessary. Number 3, the danger of that is that some people, when you tell them those, it's going to lead them to disbelieve Allah and His Messenger. They're going to deny the entirely about the signs of the day. It's good. Some people, they may go little, just deny entirely the signs of the Day of Judgment. Some people would go forward and deny the entire Islam. They're going to get out about Islam because of these doubts and debates that some people open when they try to apply this to the current event. So this is about the Ashrat, and this is guidance. In short form, what is a shart? Shart is a condition, which means that an alama, a sign. A shart means an alama, a sign that would show that thing would happen. A sa'a is the hour, is a time where the hour of the Day of Judgment would happen. Why it was named a sa'a? Because it's gonna come in a mufaja. Accidentally one time the Day of Judgment would start. It's gonna be like something very accidentally to the people, and the entire people will die with one sayha, with one, and when the angel blow the drum, they will die one time. So this is what it means the Ashrat Sa'a, and this is the introductions when it comes to the Ashrat Sa'a. Inshallah, we're gonna go more. Inshallah, it's kind of more of academics, because we live in a land where people are more of academic people. You have to convince them this way. Otherwise, it's going to create doubt into their hearts. Inshallah, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had ordained that I have to say about the introduction of Ashrat Sa'a. If there is a question, one or two, I will take it, inshallah. We will take it together. Anybody has a question?